every single medical device manager and rep, the number one thing I continuously hear is everyone I'm talking to is entitled. They think that they just should be handed a job because they applied. It is the number one thing I'm hearing from companies right now. Every single one of you probably have a friend in medical device sales. The number one thing that will help you is humility, understanding you don't know everything. All we have in our life is our name and our work. If you want to stand out and break into medical device sales and make well over six figures and have a career here, the one thing I would just continue to focus on is learning and knowing that you're not the smartest in the room. Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. My friends, I am so excited to come to you all today because we get to announce that we've officially helped over 2,500 people break into medical device sales. But not only have we helped over 2,500 people break into medical device sales, we've also been a part of those journeys, learned from them, and I'm going to educate you on what I've learned after helping over 2,500 people on what helps people stand out and helps them break into medical device sales. Now, one thing I do just want to start this podcast off as is we have updated our numbers. One thing that I always am wanting you all to know is I always want to be fully transparent with you all. We always are running new numbers. So the numbers that you see on our website are always current. So again, just so you know, we just ran our new numbers here. And now what you will see is our past numbers where it used to be 8.5 weeks our average person was breaking into medical device sales, but it was at $105,000. Very proud to now announce that it's 9.5 weeks. So it's actually gone up a week, but it's still under 2.5 months or 2 months. And now they're breaking in at $113,000+. So very proud for our team. The one thing that I will always just sit here and say, it is not common, but it is possible to break into medical device sales at over six figures. It's one of the things we focus on, but I just want to put it out there because again, I want you to see, you're going to be like, hey, the numbers changed. And that is because we're not somebody who just puts it on here and says, hey, hope it works out. Right. The last thing I'll just say is if you've been following it for a while, back in the day when we first started, it was, it took about 11 or 12 weeks and it was about $91,000. And then it was, under 9 weeks, 9.8 weeks. And then it got to 9.8 weeks and it was about $94,000. And now it's gone to where we had 8.5 weeks and it was 105. And so it's continuously evolved, but just understand we continue to coach more and more. We refine things. We make sure that, hey, does this make sense? Do we need to keep doing this? Or, hey, what have we seen from the people that are getting the most? And so one of the things I'm still focused on is, yeah, we still want to bring down our numbers, but at the end of the day, 9.5 weeks, it's still under 2.5 months. Like it's life changing, but the fact that we were able to go from 105 to our average is 113. We've had people getting hired at $160, $170, $180,000 like consistently. Then we have them on the podcast. It's the most fun. And just understand we're all about bringing them so you can see them. So if you don't know this, if this is your first time watching us, go back, watch all the other videos that we got, all the other testimonials, podcasts with guests that have been a part of this. But let's actually get into helping you all break into medical device sales. So today we're going over how we've helped over 2,500 people and what we've seen be the biggest piece that allows them to have success in breaking into medical device sales. But even more, our goal is how to break into medical device sales closer to that six figures or above that six figures. So first thing that I've always seen with people is you will hear it a million times, networking. Networking is key. You watch a lot of these podcasts, it is networking. And many people will always still reach out to us, hey, networking. But that's not the problem. It's you don't know how to network, right? So here's the thing, networking. If you want any advice that's free that will be beneficial to you, network. Talk to other human beings. Talk to people that are in the industry. Talk to medical device sales reps. Go out on LinkedIn. Reach out to them. This is where you're going to find them. Don't go to Instagram. Don't go to Facebook. Go to LinkedIn. That is a place that you can find plenty of medical device sales reps. And then from there, start messaging them. Here's the one thing I do just want to always say from the networking piece is everyone comes to us and it's like, hey, just tell me what to do. And it's like, well, networking. But it's kind of like basketball because I played basketball in college. So that's why I want to share this. It's the equivalent of somebody's like, how do I play basketball? And you're like, well, just shoot the hoop or just shoot the ball and make it in the hoop. It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And then you go shoot the ball and you airball free throw, right? Like you might want to learn how to have your elbow in, have a little space in between your palm. You might want to be able to learn how to have the ball roll off your fingers. You might want to learn how to follow through. Like there's all the other stuff that comes with shooting a basketball compared to just shoot the ball and make it in the hoop. I share that because, again, a lot of times I'll tell you all, hey, let's go network. And you're all like, yeah, I'm networking. Yeah, but it's like you can also be playing basketball and not make a point, right? Like just because you're shooting the ball doesn't mean you're making the basket, right? So that's what my encouragement is for you all is like, hey, we're networking, but how do you actually network? So again, going to LinkedIn, making sure that you have a good profile set up, make sure that you are connecting with human beings that you're not going to take personal when they don't get back to you because it's a numbers game here, right? It's not about, oh my gosh, I sent 10 messages and I only got 3 messages back. It's like, you got 3 messages back. That's amazing in networking. You got a 30% response rate. So it's just turning your expectation and making sure that you have a really good LinkedIn, right? Have a good profile picture. Make sure that you actually have a good about section. My personal opinion is please take off the open to work on your profile. The reason I say that is because if you're, again, going to be a hunter and you want to break into medical device sales and you want to show that you're a hunter, putting that I'm looking for a job doesn't really put off I'm a hunter vibe. It puts off more of like, hey, can you just hand me a job, right? And then I got somebody today, literally, it was hilarious, connected with me on LinkedIn. And the first thing they said is, hey, thanks for connecting. Here's my background. What job are you going to get me? And it's like, none. I don't know you. So again, don't do that. So again, let's make this really clear. That person is networking. They just airballed though. All right. So it's just learning how to do it the correct way. But again, if you guys are new, which many of you are, networking is key. And no matter what I say, it's always going to be. But like, this is the thing I'll also say. I always bring it back to dating because a lot of times it makes sense for you all. All right. Networking is key to breaking into medical device sales, just like dating is key to getting married, right? But you all probably have gone out on some dates where you're like, I want to leave. Or you went out on dates and you knew nothing about them and didn't even know how to react. Or you went out on dates and you just shared all of your red flags right away, right? Or you noticed their red flags right away. Like there's all this stuff. Why I'm making this so it kind of hits for you all is because you can all go dating, but that doesn't mean you're going to marry every single one you date. AKA you can go networking. Doesn't mean everyone you're going to network is going to give you a job or going to be a great person to talk to, right? And there's probably, bringing it back to dating, you've probably been out on dates where you're like, that person's advice, bad. Or, wow, they have some troubled past. No different than the reps you're about to talk to. Wow, they gave some horrible advice. Wow, they've looked like they've been in an abusive relationship with a company for a while. Like there's all these things that you have to take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Even the stuff I say, take it with a grain of salt, right? You don't have to believe it. We just put hundreds of episodes of proof for you to see it with the people saying it. All right. So again, just always think of everything with a grain of salt. But networking is key if you want to break in, and that's what you have to do if you want to break into medical device sales. Now, let's talk about relationships matter, but not as much as you think in medical device sales. Every single day, our team gets on calls with people, and the number one thing they always say is, I got an uncle who works at Stryker. My best friend works at Medtronic. I have family members who worked at J&J. And then the best part is then you ask 2 questions, and they can't tell you what division. They don't know where they're at. They've done barely any research. And then the last piece is even if they can tell us that, it's like, okay, who's their hiring manager? They're like, I don't know. Right? And it's like, oh, what? Okay, sounds good. Why don't you just go talk to them? And they're like, well, I have. And they just told me to apply, and it's been 3 months. So the reason I'm sharing that to you all is every single one of you probably have a friend in medical device sales. Most of you probably have somebody related to you in medical device sales. We hear this all the time. You just always have to understand these companies don't care who you're related to. Because again, everyone's like, oh, all you have to know is you just got to know the right person and it works. And it's like, that's not it at all, because here's the thing. After helping thousands of people break into medical device sales, we've received a lot of messages of asking for more personalized coaching and mentorship. Our average member breaks in at around 9.5 weeks at over $113,000. And if you're really interested and really motivated to break into medical device sales, you can click the link below or check out our website at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. See all the testimonial videos of people breaking in with Medtronic at over $170,000, at Abbott $175,000 as a full line rep. So if you're really excited and also motivated and wanting personalized coaching and mentorship, then go and click the link below, schedule a call, and we'll get you where you want to go. Enjoy the rest of the episode. You can have an in into the opportunity that you're going for, or an in into a job opening. But if your friend's not the hiring manager for that, they're going to be putting that position up. On average, we see 300 to 500 different applicants come in for a single position. We just had a company we hired for where, again, they posted a job and in under 24 hours, they had over 230 applicants. So you just have to understand, yes, somebody putting you up and saying, hey, I know this human being will be an advantage for you, but it will not get you hired because on average, it's 5 to 7 interviews, right? And You have to show that you're the best candidate, because these big companies don't care who your friend is. They don't care who your cousin is. They care that they have a quota, and do they believe they're getting the best person for the job. So I just want to put that myth out there, is everyone always tells me, oh, it's just who you know. It is the biggest fake thing that you can hear, right? It's the biggest myth that you can believe is, hey, it's all about who you know. Again, yes, does that play a part in it? Yes, you have to know somebody, because you can make a connection. They can put you up. They can get you in touch with the hiring manager or the VP or whoever it is you're going to have a conversation with. That can help. But let's bring it back to dating. Just because your friend is dating this girl's friend doesn't mean you're going to go out on a date and they love you. They might be able to give you some insider detail, but doesn't mean you're going to go and they're like, oh, they just fell in love because you're Jack's friend. They might not like Jack. You don't know that. So why I'm sharing it, and again, I always bring it back to dating, is everybody I ever talk to always says, oh, I know somebody. And it's why I watch people stay for 3, 6, 12 months trying to break into this industry, because they're always saying, oh, I know somebody, or I'm waiting for my friend to help me. And it's like, again, going back to it, it's like, oh, my friend just told me to wait. It's about to be a hiring freeze. Just told me to wait for 3 to 6 months. And this is where I always have the conversation with you all. This is your livelihood. This is your life. Most of the time when I'm talking to people that want to get into medical device sales, they're usually not very happy or very fulfilled in their current position. And it's like, okay, so you're just going to put your whole life where you're not currently happy, or you're not wanting to be where you're currently at, and you're going to just sit and wait, sit on your hands and just be like, okay, get back to me. Hopefully you remember me. And you're like, but Jacob, no, Jacob, they're my cousin. Jacob, no, they're my best friend. And it's like, oh, and do they have a life? Do they have bills to pay? Do they have family that they have to deal with? Like, there's all these other things. And I'm sharing this from experience, my friends, because I had somebody who told me about med device sales. Was the whole reason I started looking into it, was somebody who was high up in a medical device sales company. And 3 weeks I got told, oh, I'll connect you with this person. Oh, I'll connect you with this person. And every week I followed up, they didn't. And then I realized, why am I sitting here waiting for someone else to dictate my life? And so I'm just going to sit here and tell you with the most love, relationships matter, but they're not as big as you think, because you all think, oh, it just is knowing Johnny. But knowing Johnny will just get you an opportunity to talk to somebody that doesn't actually get you a job. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, I'm going to put this out here for a lot of people because I think you all need to hear it. Ghosting does not work. And what do I mean by that? It's very interesting to me how many human beings we talk to inside of our company and how many people reach out to us. And there'll be like, oh, I'm a person of my word, or I'm trying to get in this industry where everything is just being about your word. And I always say this, and I teach it to our members. All we have in our life is our name and our word. Right? That's all we have, our reputation and what we say. That's it. And so if you're okay with breaking promises to people, that says everything about you, and I can tell that you will never be successful. And so this is just Uncle Jacob trying to help somebody, is the amount of people that I talk to that are under the age of 35 years old that think it's just cool just to ghost somebody, or just not respond, or just not text them back. I'm literally telling you, it is the reason you're not successful, because you actually give so little care about your own last name and what people perceive of you that you're just willing to just never. I literally just had a kid actually the other day say, hey, I've listened to you for a year, all the stuff. We had a call, and he's like, if I don't show up tomorrow, blacklist me and never speak to me ever again. First off, it's the first time I ever talked to him, so I wasn't going to probably speak to him that much more, but I just say that as they literally said, hey, blacklist me if I don't show up on the call tomorrow. And then guess who didn't show up on the call tomorrow? And I just had to have a talk with our team. And I said, guys, that is some human being who literally is going and telling people that, oh, I care so little about my name and like what my reputation is, that I'm literally just saying this because I feel guilty. Oh, here, blacklist me if I don't do this or whatever it is, which again, we're never going to do. We don't care enough to like, there's not enough people that are like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. Like, again, we're here to help human beings. But what I would just sit here and tell you is people actually will tell you everything they need to know by just talking. And then what will happen is then they go and then they literally said, don't do this. And then they disappear. I'm sharing this for you all. The amount of human beings that I hear from reps and managers that they're like, yeah, this person who wants to get in the industry reached out, told me they would come in at 2. Or they would call me at 3. And then you guys never do because you forgot. And then you're embarrassed. And then you just ghost the people that were supposed to help you. And this is why I'm telling you, most of you will not be successful inside of your life, because here's why. This world's really small. Medical device sales is really small, but take it one more step closer. Wherever you're trying to get hired is really small. If you ghost one person, I promise you, you'll probably ghost two people because it's a pattern of recognition. And I promise you, people talk. So I'm just trying to encourage somebody out here, do not ghost people. It does not do you any good. Make sure that you actually just are a person of your word. I promise you guys, if you just do what you say you're going to do and treat others better than they treat you, and you work hard, watch your life change. But I will just sit here and tell you, most people overpromise and underdeliver. Most people say they'll do stuff and then they never do. And then most people say they're working that hard and they're not. So welcome to why you aren't where you want to be. So if you take that look, that goes into it. Then let's have this conversation of, after helping over 2,500 people break in, research means everything. I can always tell how serious somebody is about breaking into medical device sales and how bad they actually want it by when I get on a call with them or our team gets on a call and we see how much research they've actually already done. The easiest way for us to see if someone is actually serious about medical device sales is when we get on a call with them and then we just say, hey, what research have you done? Or how long have you been looking in the industry? And then they're like, oh, I just saw a TikTok video and I just popped on. And it's like, great. Which just shows, again, that's no shade to anybody, but what I am just trying to say this is that's showing that it's like, oh, I'm just a very impulsive person. I'm just going to grab and go. And I'm actually going to just get on a call. And then I want stuff spoon fed to me. Right. And I'm making this really clear for everyone. Like we get on calls and they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, did you watch any of the 250 plus podcasts we've done? Oh, no. Have you watched any of the testimonials on our website? Oh, no. Have you watched any of our emails that we send you? Oh, no. Have you looked at our website? Oh, no. It's like, okay, so what did you do? Well, I just filled something out. Okay, so let me just ask you, if you're coming into an industry where you're trying to make over six figures, you're working with surgeons, some of the smartest individuals, do you think by just filling something out, showing up for a job interview, you're just like, so why are you here? And you're like, I just applied because there was an opening. Do you think that company's actually going to hire you? No, they want somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's an opening at this company. I know what you guys do. Your competitor's this, but this is why you're so much better. I've seen A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You guys just put that. That's what I'm just showing you is, again, take our program out. I'm just giving that as an example. I'm saying, hey, if you guys are trying to break into medical device sales, right? Reps always tell me how annoyed they are by the human beings that get on the call. They don't know anything about their company. They don't know anything about their background, which is a quick 5-second LinkedIn search. They don't know anything about medical device sales. They haven't used ChatGPT or Google or something. And then they just get on and just say, so I'm looking for a job. What job do you know of? Or what advice do you have for me? And again, it goes back to people who are just looking for a spoon-fed opportunity compared to what we've seen with the people, again, helping 2,500 people, and why we're able to help people get in is like a perfect example. One of our guys who just got in, he's literally like, hey, we got on a call with him. He's like, man, I've watched hours and hours and hours. I know what you guys do, all the aspects. Let's take it one step further though. He says that, he does that. Then he comes in within the first week is already in an interview, right? Because he just did what we say to do. And then once he gets in the interview process, he just goes and does the job, right? And then he's getting on calls and he's already prepped and done the research on the company. He's prepped on the human being. He knows what to talk about. He's going in the interviews. He's getting prepped for that. Like, again, it's the research will separate you all in so many ways, because most people I meet will literally just show up and just be like, oh, I'm here. And they think that's a good enough reason. And I'm just sitting here telling you, like, if I go and interview some of the CEOs or vice presidents that we talk to, and I just showed up and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And I did zero research. I didn't know where they worked. I didn't do any conversation beforehand. I didn't do any preparation or any note taking. Like the podcast, the episodes that we're trying to get to you all won't come off as strong. And so the reason I'm sharing that for you all is because no matter what you do in life, there needs to be preparation, right? You can't just go into a game and expect to go hit threes if you've been sitting on the couch all summer, right? What have you been doing in the off time? So for you all, what research are you doing? What are you doing for you to stand out on these calls? Because I'm sitting here telling you, every single medical device manager and rep, the number one thing I continuously hear is everyone I'm talking to is entitled. Everyone I'm talking to is entitled. They think that they just should be handed a job because they applied. They think they should just be handed a job because they reached out to me. They think that I should just give them all of the information. It is the number one thing I'm hearing from companies right now is how entitled the workforce is they think, oh, there's an opening, so you should just hire me because I applied. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. It's like, we have 500 applicants. Why should we choose you in this opportunity? So by just doing research, my friends, you will help yourself separate yourself from the pack in so many ways. And then the very last one, after helping 2,500 people, what we've learned is one of the biggest pieces that help individuals break in the fastest into medical device sales is they stop lying to themselves. What does that actually mean? It means they don't think they're better than they are. They don't think because they played a sport back in college, or because their uncle works at this company, or because they just feel like they should be able to get it, that they should have results. These people actually are like, I know I have a deficiency that I'm trying to grow in, and I'm trying to learn it and buy down that as fast as possible, right? The reason I'm sharing that is the fastest way to watch somebody be unsuccessful is have them be like, oh, I have this background with this sales experience, and I've done this, and my family does that. And they tell me how great, why they're going to be good, right? And then I watch them struggle for 6 weeks. Then it turns into 4 months. Then it turns into 9 months. Why? Because they're continuously going around telling people why they're going to be successful instead of what are you actually doing? What skill set don't you know? I end up taking a call the other day. I talked to somebody who ended up losing their job, and they're like, I got fired. And I'm like, so why'd you get fired? And they're like, well, I don't know. And then when I just talked them through, because again, I have no emotions to this, my friends. I'm just here to see if I can help you. And then we learned is they were inconsistent. I said, okay, why were you inconsistent? And they're like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, what was the difference between when you had really good weeks and you made sales and the weeks you didn't? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, so that's the deficiency you have. You don't even know the difference between when you made a sale or what you didn't make a sale. You don't actually have the structure of how to be a performing sales rep. So no matter what I say to you or no matter what we do, it doesn't even really matter because you don't even know if you had the opportunity to do it again. You don't even have pattern recognition that would allow you to get to that spot, right? And so that's what I'm just sharing for everyone is everyone thinks usually they're better than they actually are. And I'm not saying this to like come at you guys. I'm just saying this is like the number one thing that will help you is humility. Understanding you don't know everything. I don't know everything. There's so many more people that have accomplished so much more than me. And that's why I love doing these podcasts and talking to CEOs and VPs and just learning their experience. Once you're able to say, hey, I might have some success, but I don't know everything. I'm just really hungry. You'll have a lot of fun. But what's happening, and I'm seeing this, is I get on calls and our team gets on calls and we just see it. And I have members and I have reps and managers report back to me. And they're like, Jacob, all of these people are just getting on calls talking about how amazing they are, how great they're going to be. They've never sold anything in their life. And then they just come off like they should just get a job because they applied. If you want to stand out and break into medical device sales and make well over 6 figures and have a career here, the one thing I would just continue to focus on is learning and knowing that you're not the smartest in the room. And then if you can actually admit that, I will watch you all have more success than you've ever seen in your life. Because again, I had a talk, and how I'm going to end today's podcast is I had a talk with somebody the other day, and it was absolutely hysterical, where they have been in a position for over 4 years. They do not like their job. They're actually in medical device sales, but they're in a division that they do not like. The cap is not very high. They're not making a lot of money. They've called me multiple times. They just wanted to complain about why they're not making money and why their company sucks. And I'm like, great, you have an opportunity to change it, right? And then they told me, like, well, I was like, oh, this is what we do. And they're literally like, well, my ego won't allow me to do that. And I said, hey, that sounds good. No worries. You do your thing. But I do just want you to know what you just said is why most people stay stuck. Most people will never actually get where they want to because their ego, because they're afraid to say they can't do something, or they're afraid to not have success. But I do just want to put this out here. You want to know what the most successful individuals always do? They always admit they don't know something. That's why they hire somebody, right? Whether it's an entrepreneur or I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to hire somebody who can do this for me. Or it's an athlete who doesn't know how to do a move, so they hire a coach. to help them work on handles or work on passing or work on IQ or whatever it is. And so what I'm just going to sit here and tell you is for every single person, I love how many confident individuals we have because it's what makes you you. And you should lean into that. You need to be confident. Nobody's going to believe in you as much as you should. You need to do that. But what I do just want to put this out there is a lot of times I watch people who've tried for 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And they keep having all the confidence. The only difference is they're not getting any results. And definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. You working harder is not the problem because everyone listening to this usually has already worked pretty hard. It's just if you don't know how to do it, it's going to be challenging. And so what I just want to encourage you all, make sure that you always stay coachable throughout this process because ego is good and it's healthy and you need it in sales. But ego can also keep you stuck in a lot of ways you don't want to be. So I just want to say thank you to the 2,500 plus individuals that we've been able to help and who allowed us to be a part of their journey. It's been so much fun. If you guys are really interested about learning how to break into medical device sales, you can click the link below. But just understand, we just want what's best for you. We want you to continue to grow. Again, keep networking, keep reaching out to people. But if you guys are really serious, you want to break into medical device sales, and you actually want to know what to do once you break into medical device sales and you're not just guessing, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to have a call. But otherwise, keep going after your dreams. Go make it happen. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.